Hi, welcome to our session on the back end of the WordPress websites through Boatdeck. We have a variety of different site integrations that we make for our customers across both the marine and power equipment and also into the RVs and caravan space and the machinery space. So it doesn't really matter too much which type of business you have, and you may in fact have a blend of several of those. You might be a marine dealer and a power equipment dealer, or a power equipment dealer and a machinery dealer, or a marine dealer and an RV dealer. So the idea is to make sure that this system is as scalable and as flexible as your business requirements dictate. I've done some sessions on the CRM component, which is where you add and manage your listings. And then this session is going to be focused more on general site administration. So things like how to add a page to your site, how to add a news article to your site, how to change the images on the homepage carousel, just general things like that. That's all done through this WordPress side of the system. So when you have your site launch, you'll be given two logins, one for your CRM, which is your listings, and the other is the WordPress or WP admin section. And you'll see it depicted by this WP admin extension on the end. So I'm going to step you through some of the more important tabs. You'll get full access to these tabs. Most of them you won't need to use, and in some instances it's actually better that you don't touch them, because you can do a bit of damage in here. You can break the site, you can really do some serious trouble if you don't know what you're doing in each element. So you shouldn't generally need to access quite a lot of these areas, settings for example, and plugins definitely not, appearance almost never, but the ones you will access often are Boatdeck, the pages, sometimes the forms, and the posts. These are the most commonly used areas. So I'm going to start with the posts section. And the posts is your news posts or your news articles. Now, if you have a site with us that is Mercury-based or Navico-based, for example, then we pre-populate the site for you with updated news content, which is why you can see so much of it preloaded in here. But you can publish your own news, and we really encourage you to do that, because having your own unique news on your website means that you're sending signals to Google that your site is current, it's maintained, you've got relevant information that's unique coming up onto the site, frequently or even semi-frequently is fine. But it is something that can be a really powerful tool for you in terms of not only attracting traffic and leads, but also establishing yourselves as a trusted advisor in the community and being able to communicate knowledge. And you have a lot of knowledge, and that's something that is usually, in your head generally, but trying to get that out into the wider internet to communicate that with your potential customers and your existing customers. It has so many benefits, and it's seldom done because it does seem to be such a a labor intensive process, but it doesn't need to be. It's really easy to add a news post, and you don't need to overthink it too much. It just needs to follow a few certain principles for it to be effective. So I'm going to show you an existing one, but to make a new one you would just simply click on the add new button, and it will have these fields I'm about to show you, but they will be blank. So when you come to add your title, you don't want it too long. So sort of maximum 70 characters really is the ideal. And again, we turn this title into your meta title, which Google will present in the search results snippet. So you don't want it too long, because it will chop off or truncate after about, I think it's 65 characters or thereabouts, depending on the search engine that you're using, but no more than 70 definitely. So you want to make sure that you really get some good keywords in those 70 characters. So we've got a few here. We've got the word Mercury. This is a Mercury-based article. It's got a famous angler in here. Almaglashan, and we've referenced the term fishing in here as well. So it's got the right mix of keywords in the title. It's firmed up by sort of reinforcing these keywords. So we're referencing again the fact that he's a fishing phenomenon, he's an angler, he's part of the Mercury Pro team. References things like trailer boat and again angler, photographer, etc. These are good key phrases. Mariner, outboard, Mercruiser, all these nice relevant, meaningful keywords are in this article. So it's been very, very well written. It's been professionally written, of course, so that's probably a good reason why that this is so well crafted. But if you follow similar principles, there's no reason you can't sort of do this yourselves. And if you want to have a think about some key phrases that you really would like to rank well for, but are having difficulty ranking for, or feel that it's kind of something you don't want to pay for in Google AdWords, then quite frequently you can manipulate the search engine in a way that presents this information in a favourable light, and they'll rank you for the key phrase. And you can see, over a period of time, a short period of time, in fact, that the page will actually be ranked in some cases much more favourably than a listing page would be ranked, because Google loves nothing more than unique content, and if you can present it with some, you'll do very, very well. It doesn't have to be long, maximum of 250 words, but if you can think of things that your customers ask you frequently, you might have a top 10 most frequently asked questions. They might say, how often do I need to get my engine serviced? What kind of lubricants should I be using in my engine? Things like, how do I launch my boat? How do I clean my engine? How do I clean my boat? It could be so many things. Like, it's endless. It really is endless. So just think about some of the most frequently asked questions that you get through the sales process or the service process, and start to think about how you might incorporate them into a blog that is something that can be done on a fairly ongoing basis. So even once a month, if you write an article and it's referencing a particular topic, and then another month it might reference another, you'll start to develop a very, very valuable repository of content that can be referenced by other users and, potential customers. So it's well worth doing it if you can, but the principles are quite simple. So good keywords throughout, good content throughout that you haven't, copied from another place. It's got to be written by you, or at least 50% of it has to be from you. And then you just need to upload a photograph. The photograph needs to be no larger than 1920 pixels wide, and a JPEG image preferably. So you can just select choose file, go to your desktop, add the photograph in. It needs to go in the City Guide custom settings, so that's really important. You can add extra photos in underneath the text, but don't be tempted to add a photo at the top, because the way the site is structured is we use City Guide custom settings to create your hero image, and we take the hero image and we make multiple sizes of that, so that you've got an image for your your news landing page, an image for the news page itself, where there are multiple articles listed as a thumbnail there, and then you might have a featured news image on your home page, and there's another sized image there. So rather than you uploading 3 or 4 different size photographs, we take the largest one that you put in and we size it into different options for you. So that's why your hero shot needs to go in City Guide custom settings. Then you just need to select featured news or latest news. Latest news will always be a default, and this featured news option is only relevant if you are putting stuff on your homepage. So the featured news would feature on your homepage. Latest listings is on your news page or your blog page. You can schedule the content to publish at a different time. So if you want to, you might be thinking, I just want to smash out a few of these on the weekend and then I want to drip feed them out over the following month. You can set the publication date for a time in the future, and it will publish automatically for you. You haven't got to worry about it again. So it's quite a handy feature, this one. You just set the date and press OK, and it will show as scheduled rather than published. And then you press, this will say actually, rather than update initially, that will say publish. So the first time you publish it, it will say publish. And then once you've published it, it will always say update after that. But that's it. That's how you add a news post. So it's really quick. You put your title, your description text, your photograph, nominate where it's going to live, select the date if you need to. Otherwise, you just press publish and you're done. So it's really easy to add a news article. The pages are very similar. So they are edited in the Pages tab. And if you go to one of these About ones, for example, you'll see here that it looks a lot like the post area, but we have a bit more flexibility here. So you might end up landing on the text or visual tab. The text will show you, coding elements like this, whereas a visual tab will show you the way those coding elements render to a human eye. So this is bolded and italicized here. So it's like editing a Microsoft Word document. And if you've got just one line of icons showing here, just click the last one and it will expand out another row of icons for you to choose from. So, you can do things like, underline and change the text color and make headings. I wouldn't do heading 1, but you could do 2 and so on if you wanted to. And then you can add hyperlinks and all sorts of other things like that. So very much, word-based in terms of its look and feel. It's designed to be very, very much what you see is what you get kind of thing. Here you can add photographs to the top of the page. Even though Acidic by custom settings appears, you don't need to pay particular attention to it like you do in the posts area. So you can add a photograph at the top of the page or at the bottom, wherever you like, and then you'll just press update. And you can add new pages, as many as you want. Your site is unlimited in terms of its capacity, and you can add, thousands of pages if you wanted to. But generally you'd be adding a lot of posts. You probably won't be adding too many pages. You probably might want to add a page. If you have a new part of your business that you're trying to, expand, for example, you could add a new page and pop it in there. Or you might be doing finance or insurance and you want to add new pages for those. And you can do it in the pages section. The Boatdeck tab is the next tab, and there is a red box of death I have to show you, because if you press it, it will wipe the site and it's an $800 restore fee. So I'm just going to show you that now, because that is a serious thing to be aware of. At the bottom of this section, you see this red reset button option here. Never, ever, ever press it. I always say save the changes at the top so that you can't accidentally click that button whilst you're trying to save your changes. I've done it only twice in 10 years, and believe me, it's not an experience you want to have. So we back up the sites daily. They're fully recoverable. It's just a real pain, and you'll have a site that's missing stuff for a few hours while we try and get the contents back up for you. So save at the top is the best way to go. There will be things in here like general settings. This is to do with your logo and things. This is your Google Analytics code that we put in here for you. Some other elements in here that you generally won't need to edit. Things that you may occasionally want to edit would be your business profile, sometimes your phone number potentially. You may move and you want to change your address or your operating hours. The thing that you'll probably do the most though is access the homepage settings. And this is where you can change your homepage carousel images. Now, I have a separate tutorial on how to do this, but I just wanted to show you where they are and how you get to them. They need to be sized a specific width and a specific height for your carousel. If you're not sure what that is, just let us know and we'll get in touch with you. But generally when we make the site, we size these images with a notation at the end. So you can kind of get a clue if you forget or you're not sure. This one is 1920 by 756. They will always be 1920 for any of our new sites, but their height does vary depending on the design. So you just need to make sure that when you make the picture, you've made it exactly in that dimension. Otherwise, it will break the way the carousel looks and it will look awkward. You can also add hyperlinks if you wanted to link them to certain pages within the site. The partner logos, you may or may not be using this function. Some of our sites have a logo carousel with various manufacturer logos that they represent incorporated into them. And then some of our sites also have these additional home boxes, and you may have 3, you may have 9, you may have more. It just depends on how we've set up the site for you, and we've built it based upon your revenue streams and your business objectives. So this site has got quite a few. You've got 6 here, and they're often deep linked to, you know, another page within a site, like the Use Boats page, for example. And you can change these as well. These will be different dimensions to the carousel. And in this instance, these ones are 736 by 552. So usually we'll give you this information within the file, just in case you forget it. But we can always, you know, if you have a question, just email our support team or your project manager, and they'll be able to provide you with those dimensions if you're not sure on the image sizes that you need to put in here. But once you've got it to the right size, just load them straight on in and save at the top, and you'll find it appears live straight away. Beyond that, there are some other elements that you might use from time to time. This is somewhere you have to be careful though. I'm in the custom navigation section now, and you can add new pages to the site navigation in here by, you obviously make the page first in the Pages tab. And then once you've made it, you can click on Add an Existing Page, and you'll see these little plus buttons. And you click on the plus button, and the option will appear at the bottom of the page, and you just get your cursor over it, and you can drag it up or down depending on where you want it to sit on the navigation stack. You do need to be careful though, because you can, you know, obviously remove entire elements quite easily. So take your time. If you prefer not to do this kind of stuff, then just make the page and then let us know, and we can add it to the navigation for you in the place that you tell us to put it in. You say, look, I've made a new page for a new brand. I want it inserted in between the Savage and the Mercury inflatables, and then our support team can do that for you. So, and that's included as part of your support as well. So, you know, anything like this that's a little bit more not tricky, but done less frequently, so that, you know, you might not feel as confident about doing it on an ongoing basis, then we can take care of it for you. So we're happy to do that as part of your maintenance program. So if anything, little things like this, we can take care of and take the worry away from you. There are also things you'll see in here. Things, for example, like themes. Please don't touch it. You can break the whole site. Anything pretty much to do in here is best not touched. So widgets, themes, menus don't go in here. It's fraught with danger unless you know what you're looking at. And you know, you don't really need to use any of these other elements. They've been set up for you properly by our development team, so you shouldn't need to access them. You can add additional users to the site. So if you had some employees and you wanted to give them access, you could. And you can lock that down in a way that suits you. So you might want to add, you know, another person to your team, and you might just want to give them editorial access rather than the full-blown admin access that you get given. So you can lock it down into editor or even into some lower areas here if you wanted to. But again, if you're not sure, it's best to just let us know. We're here to help you. So please contact us and ask us for advice. But the main objective of this tutorial is to just show you the sort of more frequently used areas of the site, which are the Boatdeck tab with the homepage settings in particular, the pages section, and the posts area. You may have also forms on your site, depending on the business, and they would be set up for you during the build phase. You can see things in here. Again, editing the forms themselves is probably best left to our development team, but you can see the entries, and the entries are, you know, how many people have submitted an inquiry. The site's just launched literally a day ago, so it's not got any entries as yet in their form section, but which is the reason I've chosen this site to show as an example, because there's no private data in here. But if there was, you would see a list of the different entries of people's emails and phone numbers that have inquired about a product within the service or contact section. All the inquiries that are coming through the listings part of the site are captured in the CRM. So it is a bit confusing because there's two different types of forms that we use. There's gravity forms, which is generally your contact page and your service page. And then there's the listing page forms, which is to do with, obviously, on every single listing page, you've got a little contact form. So no matter what page they land on within the site, a listing has got an easy way for someone to contact you. And that's driven through the database that controls the listings. So it's separate. But you'll get notified of these forms anyway. If they do submit a form to you, you receive an email and you'll be told about it. But if you ever wanted to check, this is where you can come in and check and see, oh, has anyone sent me an inquiry? Or if you want to log in remotely and have a look and check it out, then you can have a look in the forms area as well. But generally, they're the main areas: posts, pages, Boatdeck, tab, and to a lesser degree, the forms area. But if you have any questions, please let us know. If you're not sure about any of these elements we've covered off, let us know and we can do a one-on-one session with you over the phone, or answer any specific questions you might have about things that have kind of got you stumped, or you want to do something a bit more advanced and you'd like to learn more. Then let us know and we can help you. Thank you very much.